You're listening to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show with your hosts, the Fantasy Insider, Matt Brick, the Commish, Henry Brick, and the Doctor, Jeff Hathcott. Good evening, everyone. You are listening to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. I am Matt Brick, your host, and I'm here with Henry Brick, the Commish. Tonight we are going over some playoff stuff, start and sit 'em, and of course who to pick up on that waiver wire. Let's get right into the news. So Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL, and now the Chiefs are out of the playoffs for the first time in a long time, so they're now out. Bam Knight was put on IR with an ankle injury. Rome Odunze re-aggravated his foot during pregame and did not play. Christian Watson was ruled out with a chest injury. Woody Marks did not return with an ankle injury. Devontae Adams did not return with a hamstring injury, and Devin Neal was ruled out after the first half with a hamstring injury. So those are some things to keep an eye on there and monitor as we continue to go through the playoffs. Commish, how are we tonight? How are we feeling tonight?
Man, I'm good.
You're muted there. You're muted. There you go.
Sorry about that. I was having technical difficulties getting my my equipment working properly. I got it going now. I'm all pumped. It's playoff time. Man, we got some crazy injuries that really definitely hurt me. That Mahomes injury killed me. But I'm excited about today. I'm excited about all the information we have for the people. We're talking to the people that are now in the last playoff game until they hit the championship week. Well, we're going to get them there, Matt. We're getting them over the finish line. And I'm pumped. Let's go.
All right, let's start it off with our stardom segment. I'll start it off this week. You're going to want to start Justin Herbert. He goes up against Dallas. Dallas has allowed 390 fantasy points to quarterbacks, which is still the worst in the league. I think Herbert should have a good game against this really poor Dallas defense. So start Justin Herbert if you got him. Next, the start of the week, in my opinion, at running back is Devin Achane, who plays the Bengals, who have allowed 343 fantasy points to running backs, which is the worst in the league. I think this is a great start, especially since Tua may get benched, so they may run the ball more. So Devin Achane, great start this week. Next, you're going to want to start DK Metcalf, who's going up against the Lions. The Lions have allowed 345 fantasy points to wide receivers, which is 31st in the league. I expect Metcalf to have himself a day. And, you're going to want to start DK Metcalf in those lineups. Lastly, due to the Christian Watson injury, I like Romeo Doubs this week against the Bears. The Bears have allowed 310 fantasy points to wide receivers, which is 30th in the league. Dobbs has been targeted a good amount in the red zone, so I expect him to get more targets if Christian Watson is not playing. So those are my starts of this week. Commish, go right ahead.
Man, you always have great stuff, Mr. Insider. I got a few good ones here. So get your paper and pens out and jot these down. Jacoby Brissett, he goes up against Atlanta. Since taking the starting role over in week 6, Brissett has managed at least 18 fantasy points a game. He had a tough matchup last week against the Texans, who, they have the best defense on the planet right now, right? He put up 22 against the best, right? This week he plays Atlanta. They are trash, right? Start him and win your game to advance to your championship with confidence. Sleep like a baby, all right? Jacoby Brissett. To go along with another Jacoby, I'm going Jacoby Myers, right? He plays the Broncos. I get it. It's the Broncos. Oh, my God. But Patrick Surtain will probably be on Brian Thomas Jr., right? And the crazy thing is, I feel like
Patrick Surtain
Myers.
got hurt. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, but I saw that, but he came back in. He came back in.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um, anyway, I was Lawrence. I feel is and Jacoby. Jacoby's his number one, not BTJ, but BTJ is super talented, and that's what Sertan will probably be, which I think will open it all up for Jacoby Myers. So I think you get him in there, he helps you once again advance to the championship. And at tight end, here's a crazy one for you, Matt. How about Dawson Knox? Right, he's playing the Browns. Kincaid, who? What? It's Dawson Knox time, okay? Yeah, he's 29 years old, but he's getting it done. Uh, Team high 2 weeks ago with 6 catches for 93 yards, but last week puts up 2 touchdowns, okay? I think Knox continues against this Browns defense because I feel like, they're gonna wanna get the ball out quick because Browns do got a very good defense, and I think that's where the balls are going to go. And I think you'll even see him in the end zone again this week. So that's what I got for my starts there, Matt.
All right, excellent as always. Let's go and do our sit-ems. I'll start it off this week. As tough it is, I'm a Dak Prescott owner myself, and I think I'm gonna have to look at other options this week because I'm saying to bench Dak Prescott. He goes up against the Chargers, who have allowed 181 fantasy points to quarterbacks, which is the best in the league. I think this will be a tough matchup for Dallas, especially since it is away in SoFi Stadium against the Chargers. So go and check that waiver wire, see if there's any other options out there. Hopefully, you have a good backup quarterback on your team because I just don't like this matchup for Prescott. Next, you're going to want to bench Derrick Henry, who plays the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. The Patriots have allowed 166 fantasy points to running backs, which is the second best in the league. I think Henry will have a tough time against this great rushing defense, and that's why I have him on my bench list this week. Next, I would bench Deebo Samuel against the Philadelphia Eagles this week. Philly has allowed 205 points to wide receivers, which is the fifth best in the league. With no Jaden Daniels, I think Washington is playing for better draft picks this next season, and Philly's defense has been on fire as of late. So I'd look for another option other than Deebo Samuel for the playoffs this week. Lastly, I don't like the matchup for Harold Fania Jr. He has the Bills this week. They've allowed 48 points on the year to tight ends, which is the best in the league. So if you have Fannin Jr. there, you're going to want to look elsewhere at tight end. So yeah, those are my sits this week.
All right, great stuff, Matt. As always, kind of picking up where you left off. You're speaking about Dak. I'm benching my boy Jackson Dart versus the Vikings. They just held Dak Prescott to under 12 fantasy points with all the weapons he has. Right, Dart has less weapons. So, matter of fact, Vikings are giving up the third fewest fantasy points to the quarterback. So, if you want to advance, I say do not put Dart in. You got to go somebody else for sure. This week, I might like Dart next week, but this week he's a big set for me. I think I was on this last week. I'm sticking with it again this week. Seattle running backs, you got to set them. This week they have the Rams who give up the third uh, fewest points to the running back. Uh, these guys continue to be unstartable, right? So that's Ken Dog Walker and Zach Charbonnet, the Sharpster, right? These guys, they cancel out each other in the worst way. Um, Cannot play them. Do not help you get anywhere. So can't even be a thought. Just erase it. Merrick, drop them, okay? Because they're not going to start even next week. I promise you. Finally, I have Hunter Henry, another Henry here, Matt. Plays the Raiders. I'm sorry, the Ravens this week. He had a nice 3-week run at the tight end one with tight end one production, but last week he just had 18 yards. That's killer. Um, this week they face Ravens who go up the fifth fewest fantasy points to the tight end position. So I'm not seeing a big week from Hunter Henry. Listen, he's a great player. It just you have to put bullseyes on this week, right? It's like you lose, you're done. Your season's over. You're out, right? So you got to win. You got to make sure you're putting the right guys in the right position to score points to help your team get to a championship. That's what we're here to do on the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show.
All right, yeah. You mentioned the Seahawks running backs there. I think that's a great sit as well. On average, the Rams allow the number one the number one against the run against for running back fantasy points there. So that's a good sit there. I feel like in general, both running backs, if anything, I couldn't even tell you where they are in terms of where they are fantasy wise, but
They're nowhere, man. They're nowhere.
I think they've just been kind of disappointing this year, especially Kenneth Walker. I think he, which I was never a big Kenneth Walker guy. I never really was. I was more of a Zach Charbonnet guy this year because I thought he would get a lot more of the reps there, but it's still just a gray area, and it's something
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna try to steer away from next
for
year.
sure. For sure.
All right, before we go into our world famous Dude I'm Sorry segment, you are listening to us on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland, and you're listening to us live here on YouTube. All right, it is the Dude I'm Sorry segment. I'll start it off.
All right.
Last week, I told you to sit Kyron Williams, who had 78 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. For
You look
that,
good. You look
dude,
good.
I'm sorry.
You should be.
But I did tell you to start Jawan Jennings, who had 2 touchdowns, J.J. McCarthy, who had a good start, and how could you forget about Travis Etienne, who had himself a day, 73 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. He's balling. Now Bashal Tutin's hurt. He's going to continue balling. So if you have him, if you have him rostered, I expect a lot of teams rostered to have Etienne on their team. So, Kamish, what do you got?
Well, Matt, I was pretty high on starting Christian Watson last week. Of course, he got hurt, right? So, but look, we're here to help you get to the next step, right? So Watson obviously didn't do that. He came up very lame with 3 catches for 29 yards. For that dude, I am sorry. However, I'm going to start with my long shot pick last week, Jalen Coker. Okay, he puts up 4 catches for 60 and a touchdown. You are welcome, sir. Okay, but my biggest accomplishment, my biggest push, well, I said you make sure you start him, make sure he is the tight end to start. Last week was guess who? Kyle Pitts. And what did he do? 11 catches for a $1.66, and not one, not two, but 3 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts put it away for you. If you started him, he scored you probably over 54, 56 fantasy points somewhere in that area. You probably won your game. And for that, you are welcome.
All right, let's go into our DFS lineups of the week. Kamish, you love this segment. It's one of your favorites. You're muted. You're not on. You're muted still. And
Sorry about that. I
okay,
don't know how that
there you
happened.
go.
I did crush it last week. We play in me, you, the doctor, and several other of our compadres are in a big little DFS situation, and I crushed. Finally took you down. You've won what, 5 times, I think, right? 4 or 5 times. This was only my second time, but I feel like I started my winning ways. I finished out the season and win every week. So I'm here to help you, Matt. If you need some help, I got the guys. All right. So I'm starting off with Bro Burrow. I'm going back to the well. I had him in there last week, and he didn't do so hot. Matter of fact, it's probably the worst game of his career. But this week he bounces back big time at Miami. He's in the nice weather. He's only 6,500, and he's playing. He's having fun, right? He's having fun, and I think he puts big numbers up this week against Miami. Miami's obviously out of it playing for draft picks. Here's another surprise. I'm going to talk about him a little bit further on in the show, but I'm going to mention him a couple times. As a matter of fact, that's Michael Carter. Okay, he's the running back for the Arizona Cardinals. I got him in there at 5,400, and I think he's an excellent start this week. Another running back on the cheap, right? Nick Chubb. Okay, Marks got hurt. Chubb gets in there, and I think that could do a great job. Only 5,100, such a deal. Um, I'm going with that stack. I have Burrow as my quarterback. I got to go Jamar Chase as my receiver. Chase had an excellent game. He just didn't get in the end zone last week, but I think he gets into the end zone this week. I had to pay up for him at 8,600, but guess what? He could be the number one wide receiver this week. So at 8,600, it's actually a bargain. Sticking with bargains, I mean, this has to be a misprint. I mean, I get it. He's done terrible, I guess, the last couple of weeks. Justin Jefferson, but man, he's playing the Giants. They're terrible, and he's only 6,000. How can you not put him in there, right? McCarthy looks like a real quarterback last couple of weeks. Looks like he's really putting it together. Now I like to see him put it together with Jefferson getting to the end zone. He hasn't scored in a while. I also like Ricky Pearsall, right? Goes up against the Colts. Colts like the third worst against the wide receiver. Looks like he got targeted pretty well last week. I know it was a big Juwan Jennings situation, but I think Pearsall could get more involved. And he's only 5,000, right? So you got to go for some of these bargain players to get you the big boys at the big numbers, right? Tight end. I'm going Kobe Parkinson. Um, he tight end for the Rams. He's only 3,800. He's been scoring like crazy, right? And there's a good shot Devonta Adams may not play, and I think Parkinson could be the beneficiary of Devonta Adams not playing. And 3,800, that's a deal. It's a Thursday night game against Seattle, so we'll know pretty quick what's going on with Devonta Adams. But I like that play there, 3,800. Here you go, my flex. He had a monster game last week. Henderson, right? Trayvon Henderson, 6,500. Goes up against Baltimore. Baltimore's terrible defense, right? And Henderson, man, kid's got wheels. He's got speed. He's got a lot of juice. And at 6,500 in my flex, I think that's an excellent play. And finally, my defense. I only have like 3,100 left. I went with $3,000 for the Rams. Rams play Seattle. They are on the road. Rams do have a pretty decent defense, and at $3,000, you know, I think I'm in there. I think that secures the victory for me. Matt, who do you have in your defense there?
All right. This week, I have Jordan Love at quarterback at 5,700 against the Chicago Bears in Chicago. I think the Bears defense has just been so as of late. I mean, they have been losing some games, but they did win this past week. So I like Jordan Love's matchup this week. Next, I have Travion Henderson at 6,500 at Baltimore. Or no, wait. Yeah, that's right. And I think that's just a good matchup there. The Ravens don't have a good rush defense, but I think Travion Henderson could have a good game there. So that'll be fun to watch. Next, I have Aaron Jones at 5,200 against the Giants. Again, they don't have that great of a rush defense. I really like this matchup for Aaron Jones, and I like the price at 5,200. Next, I'm excited about my wide receivers. First off, I have Nico Collins at 7,500 against the Raiders at home, or the Texans are at home. Nico's, he's been doing what he does, and I think he could have a great game against the Raiders. The Raiders are not a good team overall, and they're getting ready for 2026. And I think Nico Collins could have a great game there. Next, I have Ladd McConkey at 6,100 against the Dallas Cowboys. Like I mentioned earlier, Dallas does not have a great defense, and I think against the quarterback or the wide receivers, obviously. So I think Ladd McConkey could have a great game. Next, I have DK Metcalf, 5,400 at Detroit. I talked about DK Metcalf earlier. Detroit has, I want to say it was 31st against wide receivers. So, yeah, I mean, I think Metcalf could have a game. We've been talking about Detroit's secondary for weeks now, and they just haven't been able to get healthy. So I like DK Metcalf at tight end. I think this is where I saved a lot of my money, but I really like this, especially with Devontae Adams out. Colby Parkinson at 3,800 on Thursday Night Football this week at Seattle. Parkinson scored 2 touchdowns, and it looked like to me, at least, that he was getting more reps and more targets once Adams was out of that game. So maybe Stafford likes to throw the ball to him. I don't know, but I like this start a lot if Adams isn't available come Thursday. And at my flex, since I had so much money saved up, I got Saquon Barkley at 7,200 against the Washington Commanders. I think this will be a good game for another great game for the Eagles offense for them to stay in rhythm and to gain some more confidence, even though they did go on that three game skid there. But now is the time to have a high quality offense. You're paying all that talent on that team, and I think Saquon Barkley has a great game this on Saturday. It's a Saturday game on 5 o'clock there. And for my defense, I went a little more cheaper there, but I like it. The Patriots defense at 2,600 against the Ravens on Sunday Night Football in Baltimore. I just think that after that terrible loss the Patriots just took, they're going to be fighting, and they want to win this division more than the Bills, even though they just took the loss up 21-0. But now I think it's time for the Patriots to add one to the win column against the Ravens. So that is my DFS lineup of the week.
Man, I like that Patriots defense pick. That was good.
I mean, it's a good value for them, 2,800.
Yeah.
I think they will be able to stop the run pretty well, especially Derrick Henry. And I'm not a big fan of Lamar Jackson right now. Crazy to say.
I like how you snuck Barkley in there.
I mean, Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey, DK Metcalf, Barkley. Like, whew, that's a heck of a lineup. Heck of a lineup for sure.
Yep.
All right. I mean, it all really depends on Colby Parkinson. I guess.
Hey, I won a league last week on Brandon McManus. He put up like 14 for me as a kicker, for God's sake. So you never know. Wow. You never know.
Okay. Yep. All right. Let's move on to sleepers / long shots. I'll go first. I did change mine because I saw some news earlier. So as of right now, Roma Dunze and Luther Burden, that's his name, right?
Luther Burden, yeah.
They're hurt right now. They did not participate in practice today. So what do? You adapt. You make changes. And I changed my sleeper / long shot to Olamide Zaccheaus. That is the next man up other than DJ Moore on this
Bird.
And I think if God forbid both of those guys aren't ready to go, Olamide Zaccheaus could show up and catch some balls from Caleb Williams there. So that's what I'm going with. I'll talk a little bit more about Luther Burden later in the show, but I'm Olamide Zaccheaus. That's my I'll call him my long shot.
All right, that's
what
excellent.
Do you got,
I'm going Michael Carter. I told you I was going to talk about him a few more times in the show. This is another time. No ban night, right? I think he's on IR, right? Trey Benson ruled out rest of this season. Carter has a huge opportunity to make it happen against a defeated team in the Atlanta Falcons. Now, DeMarcado may take a few carries here and there, but I think Michael Carter has the opportunity. So that's why I'm giving him I guess more of a sleeper. I think he can put up some serious numbers. You saw already having my DFS. I have full confidence in him. I think he's a great play this week for sure.
All right. We'll go into the waiver wire pickups, but first, you are listening to us on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland, and you're listening to us here live on YouTube. All right, it is the main title event, the waiver wire pickups segment. Kamish, what do you got for the people?
All right. I promised the last time I mentioned him. Michael Carter. He's probably available on your waiver wire. Listen, he plays Atlanta. They allow the sixth most receiving yards per game to the running back. They gave up like 155 yards to the running back receiving last week. Okay, they they also allow the ninth most rushing yards to the running back. So, and he's most probably available. So, if you need a running back, there's a guy you can certainly target and go pick up and start him. Right. I'm sticking with running back. I got Nick Chubb, right? He goes up against the Raiders. Know what he marks this week? Probably. Got to make sure you're checking the injury report. I think Chubb can get, over 20 carries. He'll catch a few balls. I think he gets into the end zone. Raiders allow the eighth most fantasy points per game to the running back. And I love Chubb. He's a Georgia Bulldog and just an absolute beast. So I like to see him have a day. We've already you and I both like him in our DFS. We got to bring him up again because he's probably available to be picked up. Colby Parkinson, tight end for the Rams. With Devonta Adams likely out this week, Parkinson is catching and Parkinson catching a touchdown 5 out of the last 6 weeks. He is a must start this week for me, right? And obviously Matt, he has him in his DFS. So Parkinson's a great pickup if you need help at the tight end position. And I got to tell you, I was very high on him at the very beginning of the year, and I said he'll probably finish top 10, top 12, something like that. Guess what? I'm going to tell you this right now. With the 2 weeks he's played, I think the last with 3 weeks left in the season, plus the two weeks he just had, he finished as a top 12 quarterback. J.J. McCarthy goes up against the Giants. He had a solid QB1 performance. As a matter of fact, 2 in a row. And I think he gets it done again this week against the Giants, who have the second most fantasy points to the quarterback. And yes, I think you start him again next week, championship week against the Lions. So there you go, J.J. McCarthy. He could be a league winner there for you. Also, like Adnan Mitchell versus the Saints. Looks like Cook loves him. He targeted him, what was it, 9 times last week. He caught 6 balls for 58 yards and a touchdown. So again, if you're in a position where you need a wide receiver, Mitchell is probably out there. And you're probably in a league where there's only 4 guys left, right? For the playoffs, the winners of the 2 games will go into the championship. So, whoever you want, you'll probably be able to get, is what I'm saying to you. So keep that in mind when you're if you're using Fab money. And finally, I just added this one at the end. Saints defense versus the Jets. They had seven sacks last 2 weeks, and they play the Jets, who are clearly trying to get a number 1 pick next year. So probably a good play. I have a few other stuff we'll get into, Matt, with with playoffs and everything, but that's who I have. That's why I think you need to go after it. Could help you get to a championship.
All right. I wrote down a couple of guys for this week to go and pick up. One of them is Luther Burden. Hopefully, he is healthy enough to play this week, but I do think he is worth the pickup because I feel like this Roma Dunze injury is probably more serious than it sounds, because he hasn't been playing football. And
Yeah.
I think Burden, you just hope he plays, but it's still worth trying to go pick up Burden because of what's going on there in Chicago. Next, Darren Waller. He scored 2 touchdowns last night out of nowhere. But I mean, that the only thing with this one is I would do this if Tua stays the quarterback. There's murmurs that they're going to bench Tua for the rest of the year, which at this point I don't see why not, because I don't think their playoff odds are probably either 0 or a little bit more than 0. So, but he's most likely available out there in leagues. So if you need a tight end, you might want to look at Darren Waller. If it is Quinn Ewers, I would be more not wanting to do that. But that's just someone to keep your eye on. And then the commissioner's favorite player in the NFL, Bill Krosky Merritt. You're going to want to go and pick him up because Chris Rodriguez was hurt and he was able to score a touchdown. So Bill Krosky, the rookie running back for the Commanders. Yeah, you're going to want to go get him if you can. And last but not least, I think this is probably my favorite one, Kayshon Boutte. He's back and he's still catching football from Drake May, and I really do believe that Drake May really likes him the most. But I guess we'll see how that pans out throughout his career. But Kayshon Boutte, he's probably out there, and I think he's a solid guy to have and look at during the week. All right, Kamish, you said you wanted to talk about the playoffs.
I just wrote some notes, like some players that you might want to consider starting, right?
Okay.
Like Bryce Young, he has the Bucks this week, right?
Okay.
So maybe you have a quarterback with a tougher matchup, and you're between him and maybe Bryce Young. He's got a great matchup against the Bucks, and he's been performing. So, these are thoughts I think you need to have in your head. I mentioned this kind of last week. It's worth mentioning again. Handcuffs are super important. Like, the biggest one, obviously, if you have Christian McCaffrey, you should have Robinson, right? Brian Robinson. I mean, if you have Bijan Robinson, you should have Tyler Algier, right? Tyler Algier actually could be a good start. This week plays at Arizona. They give up the 4th most fantasy points to the running back. And it seems like when they get down to the goal line, they put Algier in, and they crush Bijan's hopes of scoring from close, because I guess they don't want to get him hurt or whatever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, handcuffs, I think are super important. But, guys with good matchups. Tony Pollard, as of last 2 weeks in a row, he's been putting the pedal to the metal. He has the Niners this week. He's been killing.
I thought he had the Chiefs this week.
What's that?
He has the Chiefs this week. They played the Titans. The Titans played the Niners last week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Last week. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. You're right. So last week he had the Niners. The Chiefs are done, right? They're eliminated. So,
that's true.
So are
the Titans.
Right, but Pollard might be playing for auditioning for another team. Maybe see some writing on the wall. I wouldn't be afraid of starting him. Some other guys I wrote down. You already mentioned Darren Waller. His remaining schedule is the Bengals and the Bucks, but like you said, it all depends on if Tua is playing. If Tua is playing,
yeah,
right. Waller might be a great start at the tight end position. Juwan Jennings, man, he just still looks great, right? Mm-hmm. He has the Colts and the Bears, like the 3rd best team you want to play against the wide receiver, and the 10th best, right? These are great matchups for him for playoff and championship week. Chase Brown, I mean, he plays the Dolphins, then the Cardinals. Great matchups, right? He runs the ball, he catches the ball out of the backfield. A guy I think you probably want to have in your lineup if you have him. Travion Henderson, the Ravens, and the Jets he gets. I mean, are you kidding? The kid could put up some stupid numbers. And like you smartly did in your DFS lineup, Saquon Barkley. He has the Commanders and the Bills. 2 teams you could absolutely run, Forrest, run on, right? So that's just some stuff I wrote down. And I mentioned earlier about the Saints defense. Streaming defenses, like this week, you got the Bills versus Cleveland. Bills need the game, so Bills defense might be good. Vikings play the Giants. Vikings have been really dominant against the pass. And I said Jackson Dart is a sit for me this week. Vikings D might be pretty good. and I already mentioned the Saints. So, just some guys that you know if you're on the bubble with, if you're a streamer on the defense, these are some plays I thought were worth mentioning, especially because you got to hit bullseyes this weekend. Maybe a kicker. I only wrote one kicker down, Andy Pinheiro for the Niners. Looks like Niners are just going to continue to score points, and they have a great schedule this week and next. So he's a good kicker to have because I think it doesn't matter with that coach. He wants to put up points either way, kicking, touchdowns, whatever it takes.
Right. I wanted to talk about this past week. I want to tip my cap off to Jeff Hathcock, the doctor. He beat my butt in the main league this week, and I hope him well, wish him well with the new man-child that he has.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Congratulations, Jeff. I hope he continues to advance. And I also got my butt kicked last night. Jalen Warren, the Apex Predator, 2.24 points. I needed 2.24 points.
Killer.
And that ruined my night and my day today.
He doesn't get the Christmas basket, that's for sure. We're canceling that.
Nope.
Canceling that.
He's on the trade block now because he ruined it for me.
Yep.
All right. Why don't we go through guys to start? I have it pulled up here on my phone. Okay. You lost it. Here we go. All right, this one's a pretty good one. Colby Parkinson or Darren Waller?
I think either way, I'm going Colby Parkinson. But if I was on the fence, it would have to be if Tua's playing. Like if Tua's not playing, it's a really easy answer. I think Colby Parkinson.
Mm-hmm.
But if Tua's playing, you'd have to make a decision. But I'm probably going Parkinson because Devonta Adams probably is not playing. Now, if Devonta Adams plays and Tua plays, that might sway me over Waller. What do you think?
I agree. I think that if Tua plays, I would probably. It depends. Like let's say Tua plays and Devonta Adams play, then you go Waller.
Right.
If one of those guys is out, you do accordingly. If Tua is out, you go with Parkinson. And if Adams is out and Tua is out, you go find a different tight end. Or no, you still go with Parkinson because he'll get he'll still, if Adams is out, yeah. I'm probably going with Parkinson either way.
Right.
That's what I think. Because even if Adams plays, which I don't think he will. I mean, I guess we'll see how serious the injury is, but yeah, it just depends on who's playing.
Yeah.
All right. What about this one? Brock Purdy or Jacoby Brissett?
Wow. Well, I had Brissett in my stardoms this week.
Correct.
And the Niners, and they have the Falcons first. Niners have the Colts on Monday Night Football.
It's a great game. But the Colts, look at that Colts. What the Colts defense just did to Sam Darnold. They shut down JSN basically.
Yeah, they did.
And they won off of field goals, which is crazy.
Right, but here's the thing: Seattle, they have Rashid Shaheed, who's okay.
Right, he's not catching the ball.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Niners have Pearsall. They have Kittle. They have Juwan Jennings. They have McCaffrey. I think Purdy's got so many weapons, and it's Monday Night Football, and they need the game.
Is it in?
It's in
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, yeah.
They're probably good at home. The Colts.
Man, you know what? Based on what you said, based on what the Colts just did,
they're playing out of their mind right now, and they probably need to win. Let's be honest. Like, I'll look it up.
I'll go Brissett. I said start Brissett in my stardom incentives. I'm sticking with it. I'm going
So the
Brissett.
Colts right now, I think, are out of the playoffs because
But they need to fight to get
they got to
in.
fight back in it because the
Right.
Texans are 9-5, Jags are winning the division at 10-4, and the Colts are currently 8-6, which is
Right.
really
Which is
close to the
crazy.
Texans.
Yeah.
Texans have an easy. They play the Raiders this week, so it's like, ugh,
Right.
like this is a really you got to win.
Yep.
Wow, that's kind of
Yeah.
wild. That's crazy.
Man,
I mean,
it's
based
already
off
like
of that alone, I feel like it makes you really just want to go with Brissett.
yeah.
Already.
I'm gonna go Brissett. Yeah, I'm going Brissett.
But at the same time, let's look at it the other way, because the Niners, they're in the playoffs. They're behind. I'm pretty sure the Rams and the Seahawks.
Right.
The Rams and the Seahawks are both 11-3. The Niners are 10-4. That's tough.
It's
I would
tough.
probably. I would. It's tough to bench Brock Purdy. I will say that.
Right.
But maybe you're right. Maybe they just have more weapons than the Seahawks. But at the same time, Sam Darnold was checking it down to the tight end. I don't know. I would probably go with Brissett, I guess, because I don't like what the Colts are doing.
I think it's close. I think
I
close.
agree. I think we're.
But I think Brissett's got such an easy matchup, and he's home.
Yeah, I like that they're against
Right.
Atlanta. I like that they're against Atlanta.
So,
Atlanta's ready to call it quits. All right, that was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, that was good.
Let's see what else we got here. That one's interesting. Okay, Omarion Hampton or Rico Dowdle.
Wow. Okay, let's see.
So Hampton plays Dallas in. Oh wait, it's in Dallas. I thought it was. What? I thought it was in SoFi. My bad. I thought
in Dallas. Yeah,
it's in Dallas. My apologies. I totally thought it was in Los Angeles. My bad. So wow, I'll bring it up later, but that's interesting. That changes things for me at least.
And Carolina's playing at home against the Bucks. I'm going Rico Dowdle all day long. Yeah, Dowdle's a great start. He's home. Bucks defense is decent, but I think he could put some runs on him for sure. You know, Dallas. Of course, Dallas is also. I mean, they have to win to have any glimmer of hope. Their percentages went way down.
Right, but if the Eagles win Saturday, then they're done.
Oh, that's right. Eagles win Saturday, they're done. Right. Right. So so that's the other thing. If the Eagles win, maybe Dallas doesn't play all their guys and Hampton has a game.
Right. So yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying. That's where my brain.
But here's the other thing. He's still splitting the backfield with Vidal.
Yeah, that is true. But this is his third week, I think. This will be his third week being
It'll be his third week, but it depends. It depends on what happens with the Eagles. If the Eagles win, which they should, that may change the whole perspective of Dallas to want to win to get some draft picks. They may put their backup quarterback in too, right?
I'm pretty sure the Chargers are still in it. Chargers are still in it. So
yeah, they are. But what's that quarterback they traded for? The backup for Dallas. The backup quarterback. Joe Milton. You may see Joe Milton, right? Because if they have nothing to play for, why get anybody hurt?
Oh, we got a question here. Let's look at it.
All right, what do we
got? Ray Gamer. Burrow or Lamar in week 16. 6 points per touchdown. That's for Lamar in. 2 wide receivers would you play non-PPR? All right, let's start with the first one first. Burrow or Lamar? We had this question last week.
Yeah, we did. I'm going Burrow.
You and your Burrow, man.
I like Burrow. He's not going to have 2 big games in a row. He has the Dolphins, and he's going to light them up. You know, the Ravens are playing the Pats. Pats are playing amazing ball, and Lamar's really not lighting him up.
Right.
Lamar's really not doing it. He's not running the ball, right? And
You're right.
Pat's got a decent defense, man. So I think you got to go Burrow here without question.
But I think that they're going to pass the ball more
Yeah, okay.
because
But who would you rather have passing the ball more?
listen. Look at what Joe Burrow did last week. Number one. That's all you
All
need
right,
to
yeah, but
know.
now he's got
Number
Miami.
two,
It's a whole different situation.
as much as here's the thing, the downside with Burrow is that they score 30 within the first half, and then they run the ball the rest of the game. The upside with Lamar is that they could be down and they would need to pass the ball in order to come back to win the game.
Listen, Higgins is going to be back this week, right?
Higgins.
Yeah, for Burrow.
T. Higgins? I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he is. So you go Burrow. You don't even think about it. How could you trust Lamar? Well, what kind of numbers has he been putting up? I don't like him. Now the next question: 2 wide receivers with a non-PPR. Who plays a non-PPR?
Jefferson, Sutton, Jaden Reed, Rice, Ibuka, BTJ. Right now he has Rice and Sutton in.
You can't put Rice in. You don't have Mahomes anymore.
Yeah,
so he's out. Ibuka hasn't done anything since the return of what the heck's his name? Mike Evans. Yeah, so can't do Ibuka. BTJ is going to be up against Patrick Surtain. So to me, it's between Jefferson, Sutton, and Jaden Reed. I think Jefferson for sure. So now it's Sutton. Let's see, who the heck they play?
I'd go Sutton and Jefferson.
Yeah, man, Sutton against the Jags, and Sutton's looking good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wait, who does Packers have the Bears? Yeah, if I have to pick two, I'd probably go Sutton and Jefferson, only because with Packers there's so many weapons on that team to choose from. But you can't start Rice, you can't start Ibuka, and BTJ will be up against Surtain. So you can't play those guys. So that's where I'm going if that's my team.
Okay.
And remember, you got to hit bullseyes. You lose, you're done. You're out, right?
Yeah,
so make sure you get the right guys in.
All right. I was going to ask you. This is more of a personal question, but it's not. I have Matthew Stafford, and I have Dak.
Oh, Stafford.
On Thursday night against the Seahawks?
Yeah, absolutely. Stafford.
Wow.
Stafford's on fire, man. Stafford's going to be hitting, even if Devonta the plays going to hit Colby Parkinson, right? He's going to hit Puka, right? I mean, that's where you got to go. Dak, if Eagles win, Dak may not even play.
That's true.
So, right? So you got to think like that.
But you think but let me ask you this. Do you think I should go and look for someone else other than those two guys?
Well, you got to see who's out there. If J.J. McCarthy's out there, for instance, that's someone I would take a really long look at. But, man, Stafford, I need to bench Stafford
against the Seahawks? The
Seahawks.
divisional.
Seahawks stink, man. They
are really good. What are you talking about? They won like 11 games.
Okay,
11-3. They're both 11-3, Dad.
I'm with you, but listen, Seattle. Who did they play last week?
They played the Colts, and they won by only a field goal.
They played the Colts. Now, hear me out. They had a 70-year-old quarterback they were playing against.
44.
They threw a touchdown against them.
Let them.
Okay, same thing.
Not the same.
Threw a touchdown against them. Okay, they gave up 18 passes to a 70-year-old quarterback. They're not that great. I'm telling you. Matthew Stafford, he's like dime. He's excellent. Now, if J.J. McCarthy's out there,
that's a different story.
Yeah, I think you take.
I don't know if he is out there, but I'll have to look.
Yeah.
I just want to see.
Maybe Brissett could be out there. I don't know.
He could be, but I just want to see if Stafford has played Seattle yet. Hold on. He did play Seattle. He put up 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Gave me 17.
It was enough. They had a head cold.
17.2. That's not good. I don't want to hear about it.
We're in a whole different world right now, though, man. Remember, the Eagles beat him at the beginning of the year. Ah, there you go. Pick up Brissett.
So
It's
is
starting.
Trevor Lawrence. So is Bryce Young.
Ooh, I like Brissett. I still like Brissett.
Over Matthew Stafford.
Well, if you are on the fence on Matthew Stafford, I probably would not be. I would go Brissett. Brissett, you plug him, you start him. He's going to get you some points. 2 to 3 touchdowns. Yeah, I would look at that.
All right. All right. How about I'll do one more. See how much time we have left.
Okay.
See if there's any good ones out here. Mm-hmm. What about this one? Ooh, this one's interesting. Jaden Reed or Jawan Jennings?
Ooh, I'll probably go Jawan. 4th and Jawan.
I would go with Jawan because I don't like Jaden Reed, but
I like Jaden Reed, but man, there's just so many other people.
So many other guys.
You have Dobbs, you have Wicks,
Jaden Reed, what happens?
You have Matthew Golden's back. There's just a million receivers there. It makes it really tough.
I don't think so.
I mean?
He doesn't catch the ball.
Jawan Jennings is on Monday Night Football.
Oh, that's true.
And the Colts are horrible against the pass. Of course, they did have a game last week.
They did just go off, though.
They did just go off, but can they sustain it? I don't
know. What about Tara Oa, McMillan, or Mike Evans?
Or Mike Evans. How do you bench Mike Evans? He came back. What did he put up, like $132 last week? Something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And they're playing each other, which is crazy. Yeah, I'm going to go Mike Evans.
All right. Fair enough.
I think he is the more of the you can count on him, or McMillan. You haven't been able to count him all season long, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. Although I think he should have success against the Bucs. I think Evans is more of a lock to get you points, where McMillan is a roll of the dice in comparison. Yeah. So there you
go. What about Purdy or Burrow?
Oh man, Burrow. I'm sticking with Burrow, man. Burrow's got the Dolphins. They stink.
But who did they play last week? They just played
the Ravens.
Right, and you're all day like, what's happening with Joe Burrow?
They made a couple good plays, a couple good picks that would have been touchdowns. Yeah, but Miami's really bad.
Hey, but okay, fair enough. But at the same time, they were still doing pretty good. I mean, as much as they didn't win the game last night, the Dolphins still sacked Aaron Rodgers.
They've sacked Aaron Rodgers, first of all, 2 times, number one. Okay,
they were still doing decent.
Secondly,
they weren't terrible.
Secondly, okay, let's just look really quick. Aaron Rodgers is about 74 years old. He put up 224 and 3 sacks.
42 or something.
224 and 2 touchdowns. Okay, so that's and he doesn't have the arm to throw the long ball. Burrow could throw the whole damn field, man.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a beast out there. So how do you not Burrow? Come on. Listen, next week I'm going to be on here saying
just because you said that, I'll go Brock Purdy.
Now you know I love the Brock nuts.
I know you do, but just because you're so confident and so adamant that Burrow's going to do good, I'll go with the opposite.
He could put up 4 touchdowns.
Watch Brock Purdy ball.
Okay, we're going to play this state back. I said 4 touchdowns. I was wrong. It's probably 5.
Watch Brock Purdy for 5 or 6 touchdowns against the Colts.
Burrow's the man this week, man. Don't even think about it.
We got one last question before we end the show.
All right, what do we got?
Jordan Love, 1283. Wow, thanks for watching, Jordan Love. I didn't know you were a good fan of the show.
Yeah.
PPR.
Burrow or Stafford? Burrow all day long.
I would go Burrow.
Tight end Schultz, Juwan Johnson, and Kincaid.
Give me Juwan Johnson.
Wait, Juwan Johnson. Yeah.
I think so. I
And
think I would
I
go
don't think
Juwan
you go
Johnson.
Kincaid. I
Yeah.
like Knox more. And Jawan Johnson, man, he's been getting it done.
And then
So
Kincaid, I don't really
I'm with
know.
you.
I don't know how I feel about him. And then who else? Schultz. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, look,
I would
last
consider
week,
Schultz because they play the Raiders. And I will say Dallas Goedert just had a game against the Raiders. So you know what?
oh
I'll
yeah,
change
that's
my answer to
true.
Schultz.
That's true. What did Juwan? Juwan only had 4 for 30 last week. Yeah,
Hmm.
you're right. Because of Goddard, I'm with you. I'm changing the Schultz
All
myself. So
right.
Burrow, Schultz, and guess what? You'll be in your championship next week. You'll come back with a question. Help you with your championship team. Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you so much, Jordan Love. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
I
man.
picked you in
Appreciate
my
it.
DFS this week. I hope you
Yeah,
did well for me. All right, that'll
absolutely.
be it. That'll end the show. Hope you all do well in round two. This is round two of the fantasy
Yeah,
football
man. This is what it's all
playoffs,
about. That's what we
and
built it up all year.
we'll see you next week, 8 o'clock. Have a good
All
one.
right, man. Let's go.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at KAF Football.